Too many good men walk into child support hearings and they are already at a disadvantage. And it's not because they're bad dads, but because they are unprepared for how the system actually works. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most common mistakes that men make in child support hearings and how you can avoid them so that you don't get blindsided on your day in court. Mistake number 1 is showing up unprepared. I see this mistake happen often, and it's a really big mistake. Walking into a court empty-handed, with no paperwork, no pay stubs, no documentation of parenting time, just hopes and verbal arguments is not going to work for you. But it still happens all the time, and you need to fix that. I want to be very honest with you that the court is not concerned about what you feel is fair. The court cares about the actual number, the facts of your case, and the evidence. And if your former significant other, the other parent, brings paperwork and receipts and documentation, you can understand right from that point who's going to be more credible. Who is the court going to believe? It's the person who puts the things on paper and brings it in. So here's what you need to do. You want to come prepared to court with a financial disclosure statement, disclosing all of your income, your assets, your debts and expenses. And you want to include with that at least 3 to 6 months of your earning statements. You want to have tax returns for at least the last 2 years. And if you do not have a court order that demonstrates your placement time, then bring in a log, paperwork showing how often you've had the kids. And of course, if you have the order, bring the order. Bring receipts for any extra expenses you've paid, school supplies, clothing, extracurriculars, create a spreadsheet, bring it to court. Here's mistake number 2. It's letting your emotions take over. Child support matters are very emotional. It's about your money, it's about your kids. So we're not just dealing with the money. I get it, and it's your kids, your future, maybe a co-parent who's been pushing your buttons just for too many months. But do not let that frustration show up in court. When you are overly emotional and unable to control your emotions, it will cost you. It just eats away at the credibility of your arguments. Getting loud, interrupting, or going on a rant about the other parent is not going to work. And for attorneys out there watching this, if you're doing it, guess what? It's not going to work for you either. That gives the judge a reason to question your stability, your reasonableness of your arguments, and in family court, these things matter. So what you want to do instead is first off visualize before you go into that courtroom for the outcome that you want. Visualize how you want to behave and be perceived, and then breathe. Stay calm during the proceeding, speak only when you're spoken to, and talk to the judge, not to your significant other. Don't be rude. Now, you can be passionate without being impulsive, and that's really what you need to do here. Be passionate without being impulsive. Mistake number 3 that I see men commonly make is not requesting any sort of custody adjustment. So a lot of men accept an outdated custody arrangement even when their parenting time has changed. When that occurs, the amount of child support you pay is based on how many overnights typically you have. There is another concept called equivalent time, which is a little bit of a deeper dive. However, but child support is based on that data, those numbers. So if you're someone who's gone from seeing your child every other weekend to now having them 50% of the time, but you haven't updated the agreement or the order, you need to do that because you're overpaying for the child support. Your support should be adjusted based upon the more placement time that you have. What you will want to do in a situation like this is notify the court of it. You file a motion to modify. You can call that motion to modify support, motion to modify custody, placement, and you bring a calendar, you bring your co-parenting apps, your screenshots, things that show how often the child has been with you, the agreements that you've made with the other parent. And that data the court can then use to look at to lower your child support payment. The 4th mistake that men commonly make is that they do not ask for a modification when you deserve one. So a lot of men think that they're stuck with an order. The state calculated, I guess I have to pay it. And that's not always true. So child support guidelines are just that. They're guidelines, right? And a court can deviate from the guidelines when it makes sense. However, courts don't offer that on their own. You have to be an advocate for yourself and you have to ask for the change. So when should you ask for the modification? Some examples include if you lose your job, if you had a pay cut and you're making less money, if you have kids from another relationship that you also support and that affects your ability to pay support, that could be an opportunity. Or if you have high medical bills or unique circumstances, you want to bring proof of all of this to a hearing. And this isn't just about excuses. It's not about showing the court why the standard formula doesn't fit your reality. The fifth mistake is trusting that the system is automatically going to be fair. This one hurts because many men think, I'll just tell the truth and the judge will see what's fair. But family court does not really work that way. See, judges have a lot on their plates. They're overworked. You might be one of 20 cases that day, and that's 20 different stories, 20 different families that the court is having to consider. So if the other parent shows up with a lawyer and they have a strategy, and then you show up hoping that just your telling your story is going to be enough, it's probably not going to win the day for you, to be honest. So what you need to do is, number one, get help if you can, legal help. Do a consultation with an attorney or hire an attorney. If not, know the laws about child support in your state. Ask questions before you go to court, and then prepare your narrative. What makes it on the page makes it on the stage. So now you have your arguments written out. When you come to court, don't assume anything and just present your facts, protect your right. As a final reminder, guys, child support isn't just about money. It's about how involved you are in your child's life and how the money that you have impacts your child. And you don't want to make the mistakes that we mentioned in this video. Do not show up unprepared. Do not get emotional in court. Don't ignore placement changes. Do not accept unfair calculations. And finally, do not trust that the system will figure it out for you. Thanks for watching this video, and leave some comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, be an advocate for yourself. Document everything. Stay grounded. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.